here's a thing you've got to remember. All right, folks, settle in. Dr. Caliban's going to tell you another inner secret of Wizards of the Coast history. The original run of Magic. Now, everyone separates this original run into Alpha and Beta. Those are essentially fan terms. And the reason they have the separation is because the Alpha cards were shaped slightly differently than the Beta cards. And the reason this happened was the printing company, Cardamundi, out of Belgium, in the middle of the print run, recalibrated their cuttings machinery. And they had discovered their cutting machinery was slightly out of line. And so they fixed it. And in fixing that alignment issue, they corrected the cutting of the Magic cards, which led to the Beta cards being correctly cut, and the Alpha cards, well, were not correctly cut. But this did create a absolute visual difference in a deck, and that led to all kinds of issues. This is why card sleeves had to be introduced. So, yeah. Now, here's the other point, and the point I'm wanting to get to. The original printing of Magic the Gathering was based on anticipated sales. And a lot of work went into it. And based on those anticipated sales, they ordered, and it was, you gotta remember, the Wizards of the Coast, when Magic the Gathering came out, was a tiny little company working out of the basement of Peter Atkinson's house. Wizards of the Coast's warehouse was his garage. He still was able to park his car in the garage, by the way. That is a much later in the timeline story, Straw Hat. But yes. So, that original run, which they had to be budgeted, and it was determined that they could afford to order cards for what they anticipated would be the first 6 months of the release of Magic the Gathering. So what would be, since the release was in July, it was meant to get them through the rest of the year. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Now, let's talk about how long that initial print run actually lasted. Because remember, this was all about demand. The original run of Magic the Gathering lasted 6 weeks. Month and a half. A run that was meant to last 6 months lasted a month and a half. And let me tell you, there was much scrambling around the office about, well, what the hell do we do? Because there had been no anticipation of needing another print run that soon. Now, the good news. When the original run of Magic the Gathering came out, they had already planned the first expansion and had already gotten the wheels greased to put out that first expansion, Arabian Nights. Well, this led to a lot of frenzied conversations with the good folks at Cardamundi in Belgium. Oh, by the way, one of the other things that was complicating the whole matter was that our printer was in Belgium. Now, there was a reason Cardamundi was chosen. Do you want to know why? Do you know what else Cardamundi puts out? They're one of the companies that prints bicycle poker cards. They are high quality. These were people that knew how to make cards. And they had the facilities to actually handle the sorting of the cards in the common, uncommon, and rare varieties. So, rushed matters were made to take the artwork and print another run. But, and now most of you probably know what decision was made, because there was the issue of we knew the fan base was going to be very upset if they could not easily tell the initial run of Magic the Gathering from the second print run. And we didn't have the edition rules and the idea of how it's numbered now. But at that point, the simplest solution was decided. The white borders. So that is how you would tell the difference between a first edition Magic card, and again, Alpha and Beta collectively count as the first edition, and the second edition. Yes, the emblems came later, although the emblems were introduced in Arabian Nights. That was how you could tell an Arabian Night card from a main body of the game card. And that's where the emblems came from, and is a long-standing tradition since. But what you don't know is all the scrambling to make this happen. And of course, a much expanded print run.